Baltimore's top prosecutor called an illegal arrest and homicide. Grace suffered a spinal injury after being in the police transport van. The demonstrators have been marching in Baltimore for days. The protests even turned violent earlier this week. The city is under curfew right now. Police arrested some marchers after the curfew began just 2 hours ago. Freddie Gray's stepfather says the charges against officers are an important step toward justice. Gray's family and the state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, are calling for peaceful protests.
To the people of Baltimore and the demonstrators across America, I heard your call for no justice, no peace. Your peace is sincerely needed as I work to deliver justice on behalf of this young man.
And right now, I want to show you some more of the chaos that broke out after Baltimore's curfew went into effect. My colleague Brian Todd explained to me live what was happening to him at his location. Take a look.
We had a real melee over here. We're being moved away from a satellite truck where there was a real melee between police and some protesters. We got one protester over here on the ground being arrested. We're right here with him. The police are trying to move us out of the plaza. They moved us out of the plaza, but there was like just a really frenetic melee over here by this satellite truck where there were several protesters pushing against police. It started, we were right here when it started. There was an older police commander, a man in a white shirt, came in and just grabbed one of the protesters and started to pull him. That's when a lot of the other protesters converged on them. And then these riot police came in here and just shoved everyone around, got this man on the ground here. He's being apprehended.
How close will they let you
Very
get in there,
frenetic
Brian?
scene. Well, they're letting us get pretty much right on top of this arrest scene right here, Don, but they have pushed us away from the plaza.
Okay.
And
Brian, I need to get to see it as Jason Carroll, where people are being arrested and cuffed. Go ahead, Jason.
My name is Isaac Salto.
So, Don, we're right here as two people were brought under arrest. A man and a woman. This man right here just taken into custody. You can see he's been handcuffed. And the one behind him there, that is a woman. She was also taken into custody here. We're not too far from Brian Todd's location. A number of officers descended on these two here, and two others who were on the other side by that pole over there. This all started, as you know, as a number of these protesters, about 24 or so, formed a circle in the middle of the quad area there in front of City Hall. These officers descended upon them, and then they're now taking them into custody and putting them into some of the wagons over here. I have to tell you, Don, that a few of the protesters who came out here earlier tonight, and I want to emphasize just a few, made it very clear from early on they were not going to honor. We're having an announcement here from the officers. We're going to move back. A very few number of the protesters, Don, made it very clear they were not going to honor the curfew. And so they had made it very clear early on this evening that they were going to stay. And when I asked one of them, I said, what happens when the curfew comes and the police come? They said, well, we'll just get arrested. So it's very clear that a small number of the protesters who are out here, and again, just to emphasize, a small number had made the decision very early on that they would be arrested if necessary.
That was seen as Jason Carroll. Jason and McGinn.